Pop quiz time. What do you call a small collection of me-made garments that you can mix and match and create lots of different outfits? I'll wait. A capsule wardrobe, duh. Hey Stitchers, your girl Kris here. Welcome or welcome back to my channel on social where we completely obsess over sewing. So you guys, I have recently been working on my whole 30 fabric challenge, and in case you missed it, I'll drop the link here. You can go ahead and get all the deets on that challenge. But the condensed version is basically that I meant to sew up 30 yards of fabric before purchasing any more fabric or any notions. So for my own personal spin on this project, I decided I want to sew up collections. A black and white collection, a blue and green collection, and a pink and red collection. All three of these collections are underway. You can probably spot one or two of the projects here on my rack. But sewing up these collections has sort of got me thinking about a capsule wardrobe. And I figured it might be fun to share with you guys 5 easy indie patterns that you can use to create your very own capsule wardrobe. Now you guys, I am not creating this wardrobe myself because I am just too caught up right now sewing all the other things. But in case you are interested in building your own capsule wardrobe, and even more so if you are a beginner sewist, then I figured you can get started using these 5 patterns. Now for every capsule wardrobe, you're meant to have a top, bottoms, a dress, and then some sort of outerwear. And so I have approached my 5 beginner patterns with that concept in mind. So for my top, I would choose the chalk and notch area blouse. Now you guys, I have made the area blouse twice already in the last, let's say, 3 or 4 months. Both times I decided to hack the pattern, and it was a very basic hack, which was simply to omit the elastic and to hem some deeper hems. And I loved both of my versions. I'll go ahead and pop some pictures in here so that you can see what they look like, and maybe that will inspire you to go ahead and grab up this chalk and notch pattern. Now a little bit more about the pattern. Now the area blouse is actually designed for woven fabrics, and you already know that I am a woven girly, so this one was perfect for me. It comes in a large size range, ranging from a 0 all the way up to a 30, with 2 bust cup options, a B cup and a D cup. The area comes only in PDF copy. I think there is a print at home version, an AO version, and there's also projector printed. Now the bust cup ranges from a 32 in the A B cup size and a 34 in the CD cup size, and goes all the way up to a 56 in the AB cup size, and then a 58 in the CD cup size. And these are all body measurements. Clearly with the finished garment measurements, there's going to be some ease factored into those measurements. And so if you fall just outside of this range, then I think you can still sew yourself up a chalk and notch area. Now you guys, this pattern has grown on sleeves, which means I think there are 3 or 4 pattern pieces. There's your front bodice, your back bodice, then your front facing and your back facing. Those are all the pattern pieces that you need, and the only notion that you need if you're sewing up this blouse is some elastic, but as I said, I omitted the elastic altogether and just decided to sew mine up using some deeper hems. Now I have also made up the area using the elastic because I did actually pattern test this pattern. I think it was in around September or so of 2023. But since then, as I've said, I've sewn up 2 other versions, sans elastic, and truth be told, I think I love them even better. So the fact that this pattern is size inclusive, that it comes with bust cup options, that there are so many different printing options, that there are 4 pattern pieces and the only notion is elastic, makes this chalk and notch area the perfect blouse pattern for your capsule wardrobe. Alright, so we've got a top. Let's now move on to some bottoms. So I'm going to be sharing 2 different bottoms with you guys, a skirt and also a pair of trousers. So let us start with the skirt. So for my skirt option, I have gone with the multi-elastic waist skirt by Tessuti Fabrics. Now, if you have been around here for some time, then you will already know that I sewed up the multi-elastic waist skirt as part of the Sew Frugal 2024 challenge, and I'll go ahead and pop a picture in of my finished skirt right here. Now, you guys, this is an easy peasy skirt pattern. There is the front skirt, the back skirt, and that is it. The front skirt and the back skirt are sewn together at the side seams. Then you turn over the top of your skirt to form a casing, which you then feed your elastic through, top stitch through your elastic to create 3 different faux rows, and that's it. Your skirt is done. There are optional pockets as well if you're a pocket girly, and obviously because the style lines of this skirt are so simple, you can hack this skirt to create different tiers with different proportions, really based on your own preferences. For my version, I decided to do 2 tiers, the upper skirt and the lower skirt, and then my lower skirt, I sewed it with exposed ruffles, which I had never done before, but that I did quite enjoy the look of. So this is a basic skirt, great for beginners. One simple notion, which again is elastic, no other closures to contend yourself with. If you're not confident, you can skip the pockets, and well, what else is there to say? Perfect skirt pattern for your capsule wardrobe. Now, Tessuti Fabrics is an Australian brand, I think, and this skirt pattern is free. Yes, you guys, no coin for this skirt means even more reason for you to go ahead and give it a try. So I may have misspoken in terms of your pattern pieces. This pattern does not have traditional pattern pieces that you print out and assemble and then use as a template to cut out your fabric. For this pattern, you actually follow a tutorial and draw out your pieces on your fabric, which means that anybody of any size can make up this pattern. You simply follow the instructions, and based on how full you want your skirt to be, then you will adjust the width of your pattern pieces accordingly. So there's no sizing information that I can provide, because as I said, it's just a tutorial, and it means that no matter where you fall on the sizing spectrum, then you can sew up the multi-elastic waist skirt. So definitely go ahead and give that one a try. And if you want a little bit more information or to see a little bit of the behind the scenes footage of how this skirt comes together, then be sure to go ahead and check out this video. Now, the third piece I want to talk to you about today is the trouser piece, and I have gone with the Saguaro trousers by Friday Pattern Company. You guys, I love these trousers, and it might be because these were the first pair of trousers that I have been able to achieve a fairly decent fit on. So if you want all the scoop on that one, I did share a video here on the channel, the Saguaro trousers versus the Foxy Boxies. I'll pop the link in right here. You can run over and check out that video after you finish watching this video. Now, the Saguaro trousers comes as part of the Saguaro set, which is a loose flowy trouser pattern with an elastic waistline and then a cropped v-neck type blouse. I hope that that is correct. I'll go ahead and probably pop a picture in of the line drawings right here so that you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. Now, the set is designed with woven fabrics in mind and comes in the Friday Pattern Company size range, which is an extra small all the way up to a 7XL. Since we're talking about trousers, I'll go ahead and give you the sizing for the waist, and that is from a size 24 to 25 waist up to a size 52 to 53 waist, and again, these are the body measurements. There is going to be some additional ease worked into this pattern, and so again, if you fall just slightly outside of the size range, then I'm pretty sure that you can get away with sewing up the Saguaro trousers. Now, these trousers are a wide leg trouser with an elastic waistband, and so again, there are no notions for you to contend with other than some elastic, which goes into your casing and is top stitched down in much the same way as the multi-elastic waist skirt. So if you are a beginner and you are not confident yet in your trouser construction, then I absolutely think that the Friday Pattern Company Saguaro trousers is a good place to start. Now, dare I say that constructing trousers are not the same as fitting trousers. I could have constructed trousers years ago, and I in fact tried on several different occasions. It was the fitting of those trousers that was causing me a little bit of grief. Actually, not a little bit of grief, a lot of grief. I am happy that I have finally unlocked some fitting adjustments that I need to accommodate my own personal body shape. And I feel like I'm walking in the right direction, you guys. So if you are ready to give pant construction a try, then the Saguaro trousers are a great starting point. Dare I say that probably if you're working on your fit as well, this is a good pattern to sort of tinker with, just because you don't have to contend yourself with like a front fly, any zipper closures or any of that. But I will maintain that pant fitting and pant making are not the same sport. So play wisely. Alright, so we've got ourselves a top, a skirt, and a pair of trousers. What next? Let us talk about the perfect beginner-friendly dress for your capsule wardrobe. And that is none other than the Love Notions Cadence dress. Now you guys, I have made the Cadence dress one time in its original format, and then 2 times I have hacked this dress to create 2 different types of dresses. One that had an asymmetrical skirt, and the other one I had rotated the bust dart to the shoulder to have some gathers, and I also included some shirring. I'll go ahead and pop some photographs in on the screen so that you can see my original version, which is this one right here, the asymmetrical dress, which is this one right here, and then the shirred dress, which is this one. Now the Cadence dress is also designed for woven fabrics, and it is a Love Notions pattern. So quick plug, I am a Love Notions ambassador. Now if you go ahead and use my Love Notions ambassador code, which at the moment is BLK45, then you can save yourself some extra dime on this pattern and also support your girl in her sewing initiatives. So if you decide to use it, then thank you so much in advance. I always appreciate your support. Now the Cadence comes with 3 different lengths. It comes as a blouse, as a tunic, and as a dress. It has 5 different sleeve options ranging from sleeveless to long sleeves, and there's also an optional drawstring at the waistline if you wanted to create a little bit more shaping with a drawstring or elastic casing. So tons and tons of options for the Cadence patterns. That means, you guys, technically speaking, you can make your topper out of the Cadence top and dress pattern, and you can also make your dress. And if you were very creative, you could hack this pattern to create a drawstring skirt. Then you will have 3 of your capsule wardrobe pieces out of one pattern. How is that for versatility? Now the Cadence dress comes in the Love Notion standard sizing, which is from an extra small to a 5X, and that accommodates a full bust of 33 inches up to a full bust of 57.5 inches. Now, as with all Love Notions patterns, this pattern also comes with 2 different bust cup options. The regular B cup, which anticipates a 2-inch difference between high bust and full bust, and then there is a full bust option, which contemplates a 4-inch difference between high bust and full bust, and so reduces the likelihood that you will need to perform either a small bust adjustment or a full bust adjustment. Now clearly, if you fall far outside of the range, meaning that you have maybe 0 inches between your high bust and full bust, then you definitely want to consider doing a small bust adjustment. And if you have a larger difference between your high bust and your full bust, then you might also need to perform a full bust adjustment. Now I do have some tutorials here on the channel that I filmed very early on in my YouTube career, and those videos are about full bust adjustments. Now I am aware that it was a little bit difficult to see the drawings on my tutorials because I had been using pencil. Now you guys, when you're performing your adjustments, you do want to use a sharp pencil just to maintain your accuracy. But for the purposes of recording, then I probably should have used a thicker Sharpie marker so that it would have been easier for you guys to see the line drawings. And I do have it on my list of things to do, that is to re-record my full bust adjustment tutorial. However, I do go through pains to explain exactly the steps that I am taking, and I do think if you pay attention, then you can actually see the lines that I drew. And so if you do need some help with your full bust adjustment, then be sure to go ahead and click on this video right here so that you can see how to perform a standard full bust adjustment. Again, I am planning to update these tutorials, but your girl just has so many other things going on right now. So fingers crossed I'll be able to loop back to those tutorials sooner rather than later. Now, when I was talking about the options for the cadence, I did forget to mention that there are two neckline options, your regular scoop neck or a notched scoop neck. Now, for your notched scoop neck, there's sort of like a V-sit in the front just to separate your front neckline pieces a little bit, and it just adds something a little bit extra to your neckline. So you guys, I definitely would recommend the cadence dress, and having made it myself, I thought it was a quick and pretty simple sew. I did not include the drawstring or the elastic in any of my makes, but perhaps the next time I make up this pattern, I might consider adding in the casing. So guys, we are down 4 capsule pieces. Now the last capsule piece that I wanted to talk about today is a topper. And for my topper, I have chosen the Marlowe sweater by Trouser because I have made this pattern 2 times before, and the first time I made this pattern, you guys, I wore my sweater to death, and that is why I needed to create the second sweater. Now, just a point to note, I do live in the Caribbean and it is hot as hell where I live. But I can get away with wearing a sweater in the office because the air conditioner is often kicking, meaning that the office is pretty cold. And my trusted True Bias Marlowe cardigan, at least the first one, has gotten tons and tons of wear since I made it. Funnily enough, I do not have a proper picture of my first True Bias Marlowe. And for something that easily takes the #1 most worn garment in my wardrobe spot, then it really is a shame that I have not better documented it. Now, I did decide recently enough to sew up a second True Bias Marlowe because, as I said, I love the first one so much, and I have been wearing it every single day at the office, and that is like 5 days a week. And I wanted to have a second one just to add to the rotation. Now, I think I have a picture of the second one on Christina, which is my dress form. If I can find it, then I'll go ahead and pop it in here. But you guys, this is a great pattern. It is a sweater pattern, and it does come in 2 views. There's a cropped view, and then there is a longer view that probably hits at the hip. Now, for both of my versions, I decided to make up view B, which are the longer length versions, and I also included the pockets. You can decide to add your pockets if you want to, but you can just as easily omit them from this pattern. Now, if you sew up this pattern with the pockets, then you have a couple pattern pieces. There's the front pattern piece, the back pattern piece, there is the neckline, the hemline, the optional pockets, and then of course there are your sleeves and the cuffs for your sleeves. I think that is, did I count like 7 pattern pieces? I hope my math is mathing and that there are 7 pattern pieces. But of course, if you choose to omit your pockets, then you will have 6 pattern pieces. Oh, and I forgot to mention there's also a guideline piece for your buttonholes. Now, you don't actually cut out your buttonhole piece, you just use it against the front of your sweater once you have constructed it, so you can figure out your buttonhole placement. Now, in both of my versions, I decided to go ahead and omit the buttonholes because I am fairly new to sewing knits, and I just didn't want to take the chance of sewing buttonholes in these sweater knit fabrics. Now, both of my fabrics were sweater knit, but the second sweater knit actually has some ribbing as well. And I just thought it was lovely. I got both of them from Style Maker Fabrics. The first one has been washed every week for the last, I want to say, 52 weeks. I'm gonna hazard a guess and say it has been that long since I made up my first Marlowe cardigan, and my cardigan has held up quite nicely. Now, for my second one, I have just recently made it, as I said before, and so I've only washed it like 2 times since I've pre-washed it, but so far so good. Now, if you decide to omit the buttonholes and buttons as I did, it means that this is a beginner-friendly pattern with 0 notions, and you can whiz this up in one sewing session, maybe about 3 or 4 hours, really just depending on how quickly you can sew. For me, I was able to whip together my second version fairly quickly, and again, I did also include the pockets because I love pockets. No doubt about it. I love pockets, and I just find it so useful when I'm walking around the office to tuck my cell phone into the pocket of my cardigan. That way I'm not walking around with my cell phone in my hand. But if it were that I needed it at short notice, then I could just grab it out of my pocket, which I find to be very good sizing. So I would definitely recommend the True Bias Mallow, but I don't think I told you the size range, so let us just double check. Now, in terms of the measurement, there are two different size bands for the Mallow. There's a 0 to 18 in there, I think it is a B cup option, and then there's a 14 to 30 with a D cup option. So it really just depends on which sizing best address your particular needs, because you will have to purchase both of these size bands separately, and they do retail for $16 a piece. So if you happen to be smaller in sizing from the 0 to 16, but you needed a larger cup size, for example, then it means that you might need to go ahead and play around with a full bust adjustment if you thought that you needed it. Again, this is a very loose, flowy cardigan, and if you decide not to button it at all, then it means that you don't have to worry too much about straining across your apex, and you might then consider skipping the full bust adjustment altogether. It really just depends on your personal preferences. But that is just the one downside, I think, to this pattern. The fact that you would have to buy two different size bands to suit your needs. Luckily for me, I was able to buy the larger size band, that is from the 14 to 30 with a D cup option. Now, I am a C cup, and that means I fall squarely between their two bust cup options, the B cup and the D cup. And I think, if I remember correctly, I sewed up the size 14 in the D cup. Again, I didn't tamper with the buttonholes and the buttons, so I'm not sure whether there would have been any difficulties around the bust area, but I'm not bothered one bit. I love my cardigans as they are. Alright, you guys, so those are my 5 beginner-friendly patterns to build your very own capsule wardrobe. Be sure to go ahead and leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think of these patterns, and if you think these patterns will pair quite nicely in the same way that they do in my own mind's eye. Now, you guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to go ahead and give me a thumbs up, and if you're not yet subscribed, then please also consider hitting the subscribe button and turning your notifications on. Your subscriptions are absolutely free, but they do guarantee you a spot right here with me in my YouTube sewing family. And as always, I love having you here with me week after week. That is all I needed to share with you today. So until next time, stay calm, stay cool, stay safe, and absolutely keep sewing. Peace.